Calling the Brown Kewaunee County's ARES net. This is KD9HJJ. My name is Dave. I'm located in the west side of the PERE. Emergency and priority traffic may break in at any time. This is a directed net. Please do not transmit unless net control asks you to do so. And please end all transmissions with your call sign. As we know, this net meets every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. That's 1900 hours on the 147 120 megahertz repeater. And the purpose of this net is to provide training, education, and information regarding ARES races. This net is also part of the National Traffic System and is available for NTS traffic. At this time, I'm looking for a volunteer for backup net control. And please call and notify.
KD9HJJ. W9GRV volunteering as backup net control.
So much, sir. I appreciate it as always, and please maintain the log as well. Okay, and now I'm calling for any stations with traffic and traffic only to lift. Call, say your call sign and the word traffic. Your traffic will be listed after you are acknowledged. Stations with traffic, please call net control KD9HJJ.
This is the K9GB repeater.
Hearing none, we will move on. Are there any stations with announcements? Please call net control. And any stations with announcements, please call net control. None, we will move on. Break. Are there any stations that are short time? Those that can only stay for a few minutes, please call net control KD9HJJ.
KD9HJJ. Whiskey 9 Juliet Echo. Short time.
Please call net control.
Net control, this is WB9NRK. Checking in and out, over.
In and out, that was the next group I'd be calling. Any other in and outs, please call net control at this time.
Net control, this is NAKQS, in and out, NAKQS.
Dave, any other units in and out, please call.
KD9ZIW, short time.
Last station calling, please repeat your call.
KD9 Zulu India Whiskey, Waterford, Wisconsin, short time.
Waterford, appreciate that. Other short or in and outs, please call net control. Okay, I will now take regular check-ins. Please give your call sign. Listen, then give your call sign to avoid doubling. And phonetically would be great. All stations wishing to call in, please do so. This is KD9HJJ.
KD9HJJ. This is Whiskey 9 Sierra Juliet Romeo. Sam, east side of Green Bay.
KD9HJJ. Kilo Delta 9, Whiskey Lima Mike, Jane, west side of Green Bay, down in the hood.
KD9HJJ. This is KD9YYT out here in Pulaski. This is Keith.
KD9HJJ. KD9HJJ, this is W9LON, Whiskey 9 Lima Oscar November, Luke in Luxembourg.
KD9HJJ. This is Kilo Delta 9 Union Kilo Alpha, Kyle in Menasha.
KD9HJJ. Kilo 6 Kilo Tango X-ray, and Sturgeon Bay.
Control here again. Any other regular call-ins, please proceed of calling net control. KD9HJJ. We got a really good turnout here this evening. We got 7 call-ins and varying spots throughout the northeastern Wisconsin. And we'll begin our training here in a couple of seconds. Break. As most of you know, ARES RACES, Amateur Radio Emergency Services, we deal with our served agencies, are very privileged in Brown and KEWAUNEE County to be working for Brown and KEWAUNEE Emergency Management as our served agencies. But ultimately we work for the citizens of our particular areas of response. And it's really interesting to know what our citizens think. Now, as ARES RACES people, we have a goal kits, so we should be working on them. We have plans for how we'd handle it if we'd have to deploy, hopefully. How would we deal with our families and making sure that they're secure, they have everything they need in case we have to leave. Now, the FEMA is very responsible in that particular field of supplying lots of information through different government agencies under FEMA, and we're going to go over that. A break. I'm going to go over some results of a household survey that was done by FEMA. This is 2003, and the survey was from people across the United States, and they're gauging there was national disaster responses by people. Are they prepared? So this is interesting. Well, there was big shifts on the way people prepare for disasters in 2023. There was a large increase in percentage of people who assembled or updated supplies from 33% in 2022 to 48% in 2023. But that still leaves 52% of the people that responded that weren't preparing themselves for this. But there was a large decrease in people who signed up for alerts and warnings. And we know you can get alerts and warnings through your local television stations, radio stations, and many other facilities. Weather radio is another interesting device or a good device to have as well. Break. And only 50% of the people believe that taking steps to prepare for a disaster would help them get through a disaster. And so that's really interesting as well. And a lot of people, unfortunately, it's been my dealings when I was worked as Deputy Director of Emergency Management for the City of New Berlin, is Uncle Sam will take care of you. There's no need to worry. But that's not the case. Okay, moving on here, there was a strong association between having awareness and how to prepare for disasters. So it's really important to at least be aware and understand how to prepare for disasters, and it's provided to you by the FEMA, and we'll go over that. And there was a disconnect between the older community, 60 plus. They weren't just prepared. It was just overwhelming for them. So that's something that the local emergency manager was going to have to look at. Another thing that's a concern is cost barriers, right? And if you're into survival, I looked at that a little bit myself. You can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for purchasing food, water supplies, purification facilities, if you're into weapons, whatever. But there's no need to do that. You can keep a simple operation, a couple gallons of water, we'll go over that, your medications, and some simple foods to tide you over. Basically, they're looking at a 3-day stint that you may have to be on your own before someone there is to help you. And people living in areas with high risk of flood and wildfire impacts, their perceptions, they don't understand that they have to prepare. A lot of people, about 50% would consider preparing or knowing what the dangers are and getting ready for that break.
This is the K9GB repeater.
We're going over some information that was provided by FEMA, and anybody has access to this, and you can download this information. But basically, it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. And every territory and state in the United States of America is subject to some type of disaster, be it a man-made disaster and or a natural disaster. So it's really important to plan ahead, and that's what our folks out there need to know. And you want to keep people safe, limit property damage, know what to do during and after emergency, manage financially, that's very important, and support community preparedness, what we do with ARES RACES, and help the community get back up running. So you got to know your risks. Now, in Wisconsin, we're very fortunate. We don't have volcanoes, we don't have tsunamis, we don't have those type of situations, wildfires, but we do have the possibility of severe storms and tornadoes and hail and flooding. So those are natural disasters that we have to be concerned with, right? It's important to know your risks and then make a plan. And there's a lot of information, like I said, we'll go over that's provided by the federal government, and also your local emergency management folks have that information. And then take action, have your plan, and then work on it. You got to know your risks. Unfortunately, today, with the way things are going, even now you have to be concerned about active shooter, how to prepare for that, you and your family. And obviously, we know from the daily news that it could happen anywhere, to anywhere, any place. So there's a lot of information there. I'm not going to go into all the information here, but that's something you have to prepare for. Cyber attacks. We've known what's going on with our recent hospital attacks and other facilities, and another concern is damaging our electrical and our water systems and natural gas systems. So that's a concern. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes nowadays. And of course, in Wisconsin, it's tornadoes, severe wind issues, winter storms, and preparing for extreme heat. And the way things are going so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we have to have any concerns with extreme heat, right? Another thing we have to be is apply natural preparedness. And what does that mean? It means safeguard your documents, gather financial, household, and medical documents, and keep those readily available. Save money for rainy days. I know with some people it's hard to do, and you want to have a cash reserve because you never know with cyber attacks, could the time machines go down. You should have some ready cash, and whatever's comfortable, 250, 300, 400, whatever comfortable, but you should have that readily available. Right? And in information I have here. A nuclear explosion. Well, obviously, when I was a kid, we'd hide under our desks, duck and cover in the 1950s during the Cold War. But unfortunately, the way things are going in this world, we might have to deal with that as well. So there's an area here that of information to prepare for a nuclear attack. Pandemics, are we familiar with those? Preparing for those. So learning from our last COVID situation, we can glean from that and know what we have to do in order to prepare for that. Break. We covered tornadoes and thunderstorms and lightning. We don't have to worry about volcanoes or tsunamis, like I said, wildfires. Winter storms, we had a little winter storm not too long ago, but we handled that. And it's really important to create a family communications plan. Break. You'll be in school, mom's at work, dad's at work. What do we do? How do we communicate? So there's a lot of information here, and we need to do that. And there is a huge comfort level knowing that if something happens, your children, your spouse, your significant other knows what to do, where you can get together, and you can communicate with each other. So that's really important. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the details here, but there's a lot of good information. And know your local plans and your resources. If your community is more prone to a natural disaster or some other situation, usually your emergency management people will have information to guide you and to alert you what may happen in that particular area. Have an evacuation and shelter plan. Now, that doesn't impede us as it does down in Florida or other hurricane-prone areas, but that's certainly something to discuss and know. Emergency supplies. Now, this doesn't cost a lot of money, but you want to have water, 1 gallon of drinking water per person per day. And depending upon your living, you may wish to keep 3 days worth. Typically around here, that's what we would have. And then non-perishable goods, too. You want to put aside, have some ready cash, and then first aid kit and flashlights, things like that. It's not time to go look for your batteries when the lights go out, okay? And also I suggest the weather radio. That's extremely important. Another thing, too, as indicated in the survey, a lot of people aren't taking advantage of the alerts and warnings. I have my NOAA weather radio, and that's been very, very useful to me to let me know of any approaching severe weather. Although as ARES people, we should know that anyways by being in touch with the National Weather Service and our local television stations that cover that kind of information. But please, you can download to your phone, and we have that ability, and we can be alerted. And that's even including missing children and missing elderly adults. That's very helpful, too. So always keep informed of your alerts and warnings. Another thing is look at your insurance. Break. Know your insurance options and document your property. So you want to, and that's really good. Even with my ham shack, I've taken pictures of that, and I have that on a memory chip. And so if anything would happen, I can get that to my insurance agent. So it's really good to note that, and also know what your insurance covers. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people that are in flood areas that don't get the special flood insurance because a regular insurance will not cover household damage to flooding unless you have that flood addendum or have special flood insurance. So document everything and have that at the ready. Right? And I remember as a kid, too, in school they teach us about fire prevention, and then I'd have fire drills. And at the time, my parents cooperated, but we'd be pretending we were in bed, and then my dad would yell fire. That was before fire or smoke detectors. And then we'd run out the side of the house, but out the door, obviously. But, practice for that. Also sign up for CPR classes if you can, first aid classes. take advantage of getting involved in community groups, such as our group, ARES Races, CERT groups, helping out with the Salvation Army or Red Cross. There's so much that you can do to donate your time and learn while you're doing that. Again, all this information is on the net. You can look up FEMA. You can look up specific for ready.gov, and it has all this information that you can provide your family, you can provide your relatives, you can provide your friends, and really push that, you know. I think that's a good idea. That's part of our job, I think, is working for ARES Races. Well, that's all I have. Let's go down the list here. W9GRB, do you have anything you'd like to add?
This is the K9GB repeater.
Thanks for the training tonight. I think all of us that are on the net tonight have kind of taken that first step towards preparing ourselves for things that are going to happen. Just to maybe reiterate a few of the points, one thing that I see nationally is that a lot of people don't have supplies in their house. So if if something were to happen tonight, they don't even have food or supplies for even 3 or 4 days. So I think that's maybe one of the places where people can kind of start is make sure if something happened tonight, can you camp out in your house for the next 3 or 4 days with just the supplies on hand. So that's all I got. Thanks again. W9GRB.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. How about W9SJR?
Thanks, Net Control. Yep, I'm just going to echo what W9GRB said. That's it. Keep supplies for 3 or 4 days. You pretty much covered it. Have some money. Make sure you got food and water. And if you can get through a couple of days, the rest should fall in place. W9SJR.
Hey, Sam. Yeah, just again to reiterate, people think, oh, somebody's going to take care of me. Well, they have to understand that if we have a very large disaster, even locally, the responding agencies are going to be stretched. And there'll be heavy demand placed upon them as well. So we need to maybe take care of ourselves for a while. So let's go to Jane, KD9WLM.
Thank you, Net Control. Very nice training tonight. I was thinking, however, that given, we're not hurricane country, that's true, but we are tornado and heavy storm country. And given that FEMA couldn't get in for Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Sandy, if I remember correctly, for about 7 days, it might even be wise to keep a little more than 3 or 4 days on hand, more like 7 to 10 days or longer. And also, with respect to water, it especially, rotate that stuff out. Food and water rotated out so that it's relatively fresh. KD9WLM, thank you.
Welcome. A little elaboration on that, too, is that we have to understand, depending upon the type of disaster or problem, the stores may be shut. No electricity. They can't run their registers. So the roads may be blocked, so you can't hop in your car and go down to the Quick Trip and pick up a warm hamburger. It isn't going to work. Okay, KD9YYT.
Yeah, KD9YYT. Yeah, it was good training tonight. Nice refresher with everything, and along with being in Wisconsin, just finding a way to stay warm, too.
That's a big Roger on that, so that's a consideration. Fortunately, or maybe not, we've been fortunate so far this winter season. We did have that stint for about a week and a half to work out, very cold. But you're right, we have to prepare for everything, and that's based on what our area we're in. And just to elaborate a little bit more too, it depends upon where you live. If you live next to a heavy manufacturing facility, there's a lot of places that use ammonia. ammonia leaks. We've noticed that with the meatpacking facilities. We could have a plane crash. I live very near to Austin Straubel, and depending upon the flight conditions, they fly straight over my head. You never know. Okay, I don't want to be depressing here, but let's go to W9LON.
KD9HKD, this is W9LON. Yes, thank you for the training. Very good refresher. It's interesting always to reflect on oneself, and I think about a gallon of water per day per person, and we don't have that per day and set aside, so that's a good takeaway. Also, generators, and wondering is it worth getting a generator to run the well and the septic pump, et cetera, et cetera. So a good awareness message, and I appreciate that. Thank you. This is W9LON.
Thank you for that. You just sparked a memory here. When I lived in New Berlin, I lived in an area that was unhydrated, no hydrants, and we had our own well, and we had a septic system. We would have, because we were less populated, if we had an outage, the power company would work on the areas that had more population to do with to get those back online. So there was 2 times that we were out of power, one for 3 days, and I believe the other one was about 3 to 4 days. And it was difficult, to say the least. So we had water that we had to bring in because we didn't have the well pump. And then, obviously the septic still worked, but it was an interesting situation. Okay, let's go to KD9UKA. KD9UKA. KK6KTX.
Thank you for the training tonight, KD9HJJ. This is KK6KTX. Here in Door County, there's a code red system that people can opt into to receive alerts, and that's been activated a couple times with severe storms. And I moved here from California, 6 years ago or so, but somehow or another, I'm still in the Southern California alert system. So with their atmospheric river and their rains and flooding of this past couple of days, I've gotten alerts in English and Spanish for Southern California as well. KK6KTX.
I appreciate everybody for being involved in the training. We got some good responses, and that's greatly appreciated. I'm going to ask one more time, anybody else that wants to check in, please do so.
Net control. November Oscar 9 X-ray, John in Sheboygan.
John, give me your call again, please.
November Oscar 9er X-ray.
Sure. Did you copy much of the training, John?
Yes, sir. I did copy much of it. I was also in on the Manitowoc ARES net, and they have a much shorter net, but I was listening to your net along the way as well. So yes, I heard a lot of the preparedness information and where to get information, the FEMA websites and stuff. I do have the FEMA app as well as several other weather apps. So that's pretty useful. The FEMA one actually does do a lot of weather alerts, so that's interesting as well. NO9X, back to net.
Thank you very much. A couple other things that have come to mind. I don't want to bore you here, but our siren, the Green Bay Mike and Key Club, and we have a meeting tomorrow night, by the way, and they do the siren monitoring. It's the Wednesday before, so it'd be the second Wednesday of the month for the Brown County Siren Test. And our troops go out there and monitor the sirens, and then we call it in, and we provide the information to Brown County Emergency Management, and then they can write up a work order for that repair of the sirens. One other quick note is that people think that outdoor warning systems is to alert them, approaching storms. That's fine if you're outdoors and you're within the distance of a siren, you can listen to it. But at 2 o'clock in the morning with your air conditioner on, you ain't going to hear the siren. So it's very important that you have other alerting methods. Okay, that's all I have. Anybody else wishing to check in, please do.
Net Control, Mike India Lima, Appleton.
WB9 NRK checking in.
Net Control. This is Kilo 9 India, Quebec, K9IQ.
K9IQ. There's a gentleman from Appleton. You just kind of faded out there. Could you please repeat your call?
Certainly. Net Control, call sign here is Kilo Delta Niner, Mike India Lima, KD9MIL. Handle is Dan, QTH Appleton. No traffic.
Okay, well, anybody else wishing to check in, because we're going to be shutting down here momentarily. Standing by.
Net Control, this is Whiskey 9 Sierra Juliet Romeo. I'd like to do a follow-up comment, if I may.
Go ahead.
I was busy hammering out my 214 report when it was my turn, so the cat got my tongue a little bit. I'll just share that with everything everyone said, some years ago when I lived in the country, we lost power due to a big windstorm, and I was without electricity or water or refrigeration or a flushable toilet for 4 days. And it was a real eye-opener. That's when I started getting prepared. And that same year, we had a snowstorm where we got 26 inches of snow in 24 hours, and I could not leave my driveway for 5 days due to 2 feet of snow. So we are prepared at this house, and that's all I wanted to share. Back to you, Net Control, W9SJR.
Thank you very much, W9FJR. It's just interesting, too, how people lived, you look back 100, 200 years ago, and they could survive in those particular situations, but we've evolved to the point that we no longer can. And like I said, preparation and just being aware of what you need to do with the flashlights, even I had some kerosene lanterns, candles, things like that, may come in handy. So, hey, last call. Anybody else wishing to check in to Net Control, please give me a call.
WB9 NRK with an update.
Sorry, Dale, did you want to contribute to this at all?
Well, I just want to say hello, but I'm back in town. I was out in the hospital in Milwaukee for 14 days. I had my gallbladder surgery in Green Bay, and it went bad.
Glad to hear. Are you feeling better, sir?
Oh, yeah, doing a lot better. Got the visiting nurses come to the house and physical therapy. So, I had I still have a drain tube in me, but yeah, doing a lot better, Dave. Thank you.
All right. This is a very good net. We've got a lot of excellent responses. And let's be preachers out there. Let's preach this good news and to your friends, relatives. Check with Grandma and Grandpa, especially you get your elderly folks need a little more care. And so that's what I suggest we do. I'm going to do that myself. I'm going to give my mother a call. She's 95. All right. Now here's the closing statement. I thank everybody for participating in the Brown Kewaunee County ARES net. Thanks to the Great Mike and Keith Club for allowing the use of the repeater. I'm now closing the net at, let's say, 19:35 hours. This is KD9HJJ Clear.
W9LON, W9LON, W9JE. Are you still around, Luke?
Yes, W9JE, this is W9LON. Go ahead.
Yeah, regarding the question you asked on the last Thursday of January for the net that I was running on on the Brussels WECOM repeater, I'm not sure I understood your request for becoming a member, because you are already a member of the Brown and KEWAUNEE County ARES Races group, and that statewide net that I was running, they do not have membership for that statewide net. You would be a member of Wisconsin ARES Races by becoming a member of your, like I said, the Brown and KEWAUNEE County group. But if you were looking for membership on how to help support WECOM, there is something on their website that you can go to the WECOM website. Just enter them into your favorite search engine, and that should take you to their website. And there should be something there that will allow you to donate to them. So that is the other piece of information that I said that I didn't have, but would try to get information for you.
Thank you so much. I copy that, and actually that was the question I had, whether or not there was a separate membership group, and now I understand that. So thank you very much, Ed, and you have a good night. This is W9LON wishing you 73.
You are very welcome, and when I say that I am going to try to find out information for you, I do my best to do so, or at least do my best to be able to get back to you saying I couldn't find anything, and I'm glad I was able to help you out on that. Okie dokie, 7-3, take care, have a good one, and we'll catch you again. W9LON, W9JE will be clear.
Just wanted to say thank you for the integrity. It's a rare commodity and a pleasant aroma. W9LON.